Floating hydrogen hub, validated for grid-free shore power. Floating hydrogen power hub, validated for grid-independent port shore power. Elar Group, 3 hexagonal platforms, 45 megawatt hours of onboard storage, no substation, no utility timeline, no waiting. A UK maritime consortium just finished proving the concept works. Getting shore power to a docked ship sounds simple enough until you try to do it at scale. Then come the substation upgrades, the grid reinforcement studies, the permits, the civil construction, and the utility coordination that collectively turn a straightforward emissions reduction into a 7-year infrastructure project. A lot of ports have been stuck in that cycle for years, watching compliance deadlines move closer while their electrical capacity stays put. What a UK-backed maritime consortium finished validating last month takes a different path. Instead of pulling power from the shore to the ship, the system puts the power source on the water. 3 modular hexagonal floating platforms, spanning roughly 12,900 square feet combined, carry approximately 45 megawatt hours of battery storage, 1.3 megawatt hydrogen fuel cells, 146 kilowatts of onboard solar, and a grid-forming AC/DC electrical architecture that connects directly to vessels at berth. Output capacity runs up to 5 megawatts continuously, with support for both 6.6 kV and 11 kV shore power connections. That is enough to keep a medium-sized cruise ship running on clean power around the clock while it sits in port. How the fuel cell and battery system keeps ships powered without a grid tie-in. The fuel cells run continuously, charging the onboard battery banks. When a ship connects, stored energy flows out at whatever rate the vessel needs. Solar panels trim hydrogen consumption during daylight hours, but handle a small slice of total output. 7 onboard low-pressure hydrogen storage tanks built to ISO-compatible container specs hold enough fuel for roughly 2 to 3 days of operation. The consortium estimates weekly hydrogen consumption at between 16,500 and 17,600 pounds, with refueling expected about twice a week. Total projected weekly energy output lands around 91 megawatt-hours. The 6-month validation program ran under the UK Research and Innovation UKRI Clean Maritime Demonstrator Competition Round 6, with the UK Shipping Office for Reducing Emissions, UK Shore, as a partner. Testing covered hydrodynamics, structural performance, electrical architecture, and multi-platform connectivity under varying sea conditions, with independent verification from the University of Strathclyde. The result was confirmation that off-the-shelf hydrogen, battery, and fuel cell technologies can be integrated into a floating platform and actually deployed, not just modeled. Port shore power mandates are tightening, while grid capacity stays flat. Ships sitting at berth with their auxiliary diesel engines running are a well-documented and politically visible source of port emissions. The International Maritime Organization, IMO, has set greenhouse gas reduction targets that push international shipping towards significant cuts by 2030. In the European Union, cold ironing requirements, the practice of connecting docked vessels to shore power so they can shut down onboard generators, are already in effect at major ports. Several U.S. port authorities have moved in the same direction under state and federal air quality programs. The ports being asked to comply are often the ones with the least grid capacity to work with. Industrial-era electrical infrastructure, limited physical space for new substations, and utility interconnection queues that stretch years out have left many operators genuinely stuck. Spending on grid-connected shore power has increased, but deployment has not kept pace with the mandate timeline. A floating platform that arrives pre-commissioned and starts operating without touching the local grid sidesteps most of those constraints entirely. Hydrogen supply logistics remain the main unresolved piece. Twice-weekly refueling at 8,000 plus pounds per delivery requires a reliable supply chain that most ports cannot yet access. Green hydrogen production is growing, but it remains concentrated, and transport infrastructure at the volumes this platform needs is still thin in most markets. That is not a technical problem with the platform itself, but it is a real planning constraint for any port operator looking at early adoption. You've been listening to Sustainability Soundbites by Environment and Energy Leader. For partnership opportunities, please reach out to our team.